earGround Radio. New voices amplified.
Rufundi matsongonyetse anuya tisingafungire mambo ndimatsongonyetse chete baba rufundi matsongonyetse pane vanodana.
Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to earGround New Voices Amplified. From time to time, we bring you guests, artists, creatives that are working in Zimbabwe, but also artists that are working in the diaspora. And today we have a multi-talented, versatile artist. I think most of you will recognize the face. I'll be speaking to an artist who doesn't really need much of an introduction because his music has been keeping us entertained, especially under the lockdown, COVID-19 pandemic. And he's an amazing artist, and it's such an honor to have him on the program. Mr. Masango, Zivanai, how are you, sir?
Yes, thank you so much. How are you?
No, I'm good. Welcome to earGround.
Thanks for having me on earGround.
No, you're welcome. It's actually an honor to have you on the program. We've been tracking down for some time. You're a busy man, but apparently we managed to get through to you.
Yeah. I'm glad we finally got to talk.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's take you back into time. Who's Zivanai Masango? Where did your journey start? Where did you grow up, and how was your childhood like?
I grew up in Tomlinson. My father worked for the Zimbabwe Republic Police Band, and so I grew up in Tomlinson where they used to work, and from there we moved to Glenora after my father retired, I went to Mazoe High School,
Yes.
and after that I went to Prince Edward School. So basically that's just a summary of who I am and where I come from.
Great. And at what point did you start having an interest towards music? Was it in Glenora? Was it Tomlinson where you had a chance to see the police band? At what point exactly?
So my mom tells me that I was playing music from. I would play her head when I was on her back. Apparently that's what I
do
used
this Angoma.
yeah, and I did Zango Suromao when I was a kid. So when I was a baby. Music has always been a part of my life. So my whole family, pretty much. My uncle, the one that my father comes after, was the first black director of music for the police band.
Wow.
And so he managed to get all his brothers as well to join. So you'll find that there were Masango's police band, the Masango's at the army band, the prisons band, all over, and we were all connected through that.
Wow. That's quite interesting. But what sort of music were you exposed to, growing up? Which artists do you remember listening to?
I remember being exposed to a lot of different music. I was naturally drawn to radio too.
Oh, okay.
My cousins and my sisters, they all wanted to listen to Radio 3, but I was always drawn to Radio 2. So I was exposed to a lot of international music, but I was also exposed to a lot of Zimbabwean music. Thomas Mapfumo.
Yes.
I remember going to we had a place called the Bite Hall at Tomlinson where they used to bring in live bands to play. I saw Safirio Madzikatire there. I saw Tobias Ariketa. I saw
Wow.
a lot of different artists came through. But I would say just because of the nature of where I grew up and the fact that my father was in the police band,
Yes.
I was exposed to a lot of brass music and
Okay. Okay.
military band style music.
Yes.
Yeah. But also another side of my family is that there's a lot of great mbira players in my family. I don't know if you've ever heard of Chatwo Dutiro.
Oh yes, Chatter yes.
Yes. So I met Utiro too. Our family,
Yes.
others chose to use Masango, others Utiro, but we are.
Yes.
So there's that side of our family who are like really steeped in Mbira music as well.
Wow. That's such a great musical heritage. So you're definitely coming from a very strong cultural and musical family. And at what point, when did you decide to start like making music? Do you remember the first instrument that you played or the first recording that you made?
Man, so my 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 brother, my cousin, Spencer Masango. I don't know if you might have heard of him. He runs Track Records. He's recorded people like Betty Makaya, Vimbai Zimuto, and a lot of others.
Right.
We were just partners in music from when we were kids, and there were musical instruments everywhere around us. So I don't know what my my first instrument was, but I remember playing the recorder, doing duets with Spencer, and there was an accordion lying around at my uncle's
Yes.
house, and we used to mess around with that, and yeah, and at church too. We I played ngoma at church, and it so I don't really know what my first instrument was, but yeah, we've been making music and experimenting with music since we were like really really young.
Oh, great. And how many instruments do you play? Because we see you playing so many instruments when you're making your music. Um,
I don't I I always say I don't play that many instruments.
yeah.
My main instrument is guitar, and I play brass. I was playing trumpet from when I was a young kid. I play a little bit of piano. I play
Yes.
a little bit of mbira, but a lot of other instruments I play with. And fortunately, when I play with them, something that
Something
works
comes
comes
out.
out. Yeah. Yeah. So others,
Wow.
I play certain instruments, but others I play with, and you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And looking at your musical history, I understand that you've worked with so many artists. Um, would you mind giving us some of the names of the artists that you played with or you're part of their bands before you decided to leave Zimbabwe?
Mm. I I've played with a lot of different musicians. Um, so when I was a teenager, I used to get hired to play. That's when I say my my professional music career started, because I played trumpet back then, and I used to get hired for like many different recording sessions
Yeah.
when I was in high school. So I don't remember how many bands I played uh, in recordings for, but uh, I played with the ones that I really remember. I know I played with
Yes.
the Ijia Gospel Train,
Oh,
like
wow.
Ivy Combo,
Yes.
Kero Chivenga, and Jeki Madondo.
Yes.
I played with let's see, Thomas Mapfumo.
Wow.
I played with Tango Gasando. I played with Mutsamudeka. I played Oliver Mtukudzi. Let's see. Yeah, and a lot of other. Oh well, I played and produced for Fungisai
Yes.
when she was starting out. I played for Victor Kunonga.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's so many. Some of them I don't remember. I would need to like dig in to remember.
I'm totally blown away, whilst you was mentioning some of the artists that you worked with. You've literally worked with the cream de la cream of Zimbabwean music. Legendary. I mean, if you work with Dara, Thomas Mapfumo, as well as the late legend Oliver Mtukudzi, and then also Tango Kwasando, a GI gospel train. Um, this speaks volumes to your artistic work and the artistic impact. What is it that you have sort of learned from all these experiences? What has been your biggest lesson?
Um, I think my biggest lesson from all this experience is that uh, as a musician playing with others, it's all about the music. It's not about you. It's not about trying to show off all your skills. It's all about trying to be a part of a whole. You know, it just it's not about me. What I'm here for is to make a contribution to the music. So the music is the king, and I'm just there to, even if I'm gonna play one note every minute, or two notes every for the whole song, if it's what's required to make the song as a whole sound good, then I'm happy to do that. Um, and yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned. Um, like um, when you work in a band with other people,
Yes.
you should just humble yourself and do what helps the whole thing come out good.
And what helps you, or what makes you remain grounded and humble? Uh, Artists that possibly have done very little, some of them are beyond the reach. You cannot access them. But for you, you still remain very humble, very approachable. I see even with the interaction on social media, you respond to so many people. But you have literally worked with some of the greatest artists in the country. And now you're working internationally, but you still remain Zivanai Masango. And where is that humility coming from?
I don't know. I guess that's just my nature. Uh, but I don't, I don't, I I think I see myself as fortunate to have been able to get these chances. I'm not special in any way, you know.
Yes.
Um, the I've just been fortunate to be able to. There's so many great musicians out there, and every time I play with others, I realize that I don't know everything. I don't know a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do. Um, and yeah, so I haven't, I don't think I've really achieved anything spectacular or special. So I'm
Yes.
always trying to better
Brilliant.
myself, and so I don't know, I that's just my nature, I guess.
Great. Let's talk about your musical catalog, discography. How much of your own music have you produced so far?
um Way back in like 2001 or 2002, I produced an album called Murambiwa. It played a little bit on radio in Zimbabwe back then.
Okay.
And then in 2005, I released an album called Pachelu. And
Yes.
then 2007, I released an album called Do Storm. And then
Yes.
in 2014, I released It's Time. So I've four albums out there.
And how has been the response so far, like to all the albums that you've released?
Um, uh, it was. I mean, it was okay. I did better here in the States, and on the live circuit. I sold a lot of records when I was out playing.
Yes.
But I didn't really back then. I didn't really pursue being a solo artist out there like that. So my goal was just to maintain a was just to maintain a working musician career, and so I didn't really push to be on radio or like that. So I didn't really do well on radio and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
on the live circuit, when I was playing live and touring and stuff, I managed to sell quite a few of my records.
Okay, great. And apart from the recordings that we see and making your own music, what else do you do? Like, what are you currently engaged in?
I'm an audio engineer, so I do record, mix, and master for other artists. I license music that can be used for different things. Um, I am a music educator. I've taught at music clinics, at colleges, at and stuff like that. I go around the United States teaching, uh, the United States and Canada teaching um, Zimbabwean music and guitar and just music in general.
And generally, how's the reception towards Zimbabwean music in the States? I know a lot of artists are trying to break in international, but yeah, probably where everybody is hoping to be. How has been the response? What sort of music do they appreciate from Zimbabwe? Is it easy for me as a hip hop artist or dancehall artist to penetrate? What sort of music resonates or appeals to them?
So I don't know. That's been a very interesting thing to try and understand. There's a big a movement. I would call it a movement that was started by Dumisani Maraire, the late Dumisani Maraire,
Yes,
when he was teaching at the University of Washington. So you'll find that on the west coast of the United States, there's a
yes,
big community uh, of Zimbabwean music lovers, but it's mostly based on Mbira music, Mbira and Marimba music from Zimbabwe. There's thousands and thousands of people that have studied and really love Zimbabwean music. You'll be blown
yeah,
away by how much they know about Mbira and Marimba, and you know, um, a lot of times more than us. I've
right.
learned a lot from people here
Wow.
about our music, um, and so the yeah, it's big on the West Coast, and there's a lot of it also in like Colorado here where I am,
Yes,
and New Mexico, and elsewhere it's really like spread out a little more, but centrally it's here, Colorado, New Mexico, and the West Coast, where it's really strong. Um, but it's mostly like Mbira music,
yes,
and more of the Zimbabwean sound is what they appreciate more. Uh, I think it would be it. I haven't seen any like hip hop artist or
yes,
reggae artist that has managed to break through with that over here. It's the Mokombas who are
yes.
playing a more African sound. Um, uh, Bongo Love, I don't know if you
Bongola,
know Bongo
yes.
Love.
Yes, I
They,
know Bongola.
they did really well here. And Nobuntu, they've
Yes,
done. So it's more of the more Zimbabwean sound that's broken through here.
Wow. Quite interesting there, and food for thought for those that are watching. I know a lot of artists are watching, wanting to know. This has been a question on so many platforms. People really trying to figure out what exactly appeals or will appeal to the international community. And thumbs up to Bongo Love, Mokomba, and Ubuntu. They've really done exceptionally well. I managed to attend one show by Bongo Love in Auckland some 4 years back, and the response was quite overwhelming.
Yeah, that's great.
Great. And let's go now to the subject that I really wanted to talk about. You've become like a social media sensation with a lot of your cover songs. You know, you've done cover songs for some of the music some of the youngsters today might not have known. You know, and you've brought life to such music, and also to some music that people resonate with already. What was the idea behind? What made you decide to go towards, you know, music that was done in the past and start making covers?
So it was I realized that there's a lot of every time I listen to music from way back, you know, I realized that there was a lot of like really rich music that, you know, that a lot of people might not have heard. And also the fact that there were songs that I would look for online uh, and not find, or I would find, but the recordings were not really great. Um, and I felt like, you know, we were losing a lot of that music, and I wanted to revive it and start to to get people to pay attention more to that music. I had also noticed that every time I play, say, a Thomas Mapfumo song live with my band, or if I play a Oliver Mtukudzi song that people don't know, but when they hear us playing it live, they always ask me who sang that song, and they go and try to find the original. So I felt that was a good way to get people to pay attention to the music that we used to have, listen to it, and then try to go and look for the original again. Um, so my goal really is to bring back awareness to that music that you know that we used to listen to, that uh, the music that raised us really.
And did you anticipate the response that you received? People have been sharing, have been vibing to your music. Is this something that you saw coming?
No, no. Um, you know, when I did that first video, I
And
think
which video was it? The first one?
it was I think Gwindingwi Rine Shumba.
Okay. Nation,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that song is a traditional song that Thomas Mapfumo made popular. But I when I did that song, my goal was to just kind of show my process when I'm recording music. You know, how to put together
Yes.
rhythm guitar, lead guitar, bass, and I liked how it came out. And I was like, let me just put it out there and see what happens. And there was a good response from to that video. And then after that, I realized that that's when, like, here in the States, they really started to like clamp down on you know, the lockdowns, and so I lost all my live gigs. I lost all my, you know, all my shows really for all the bands that I play with. And so I realized that, you know, it was a good way for me to connect with people. You know, although I couldn't go out and play live to people. I could play in my studio and connect with people that way.
Oh, great. So literally the lockdown, this is where everything started to boom and started to really happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Great, great. Quite interesting there that even in the midst of a pandemic like this, you have managed to really innovate and create something. Um, which of the covers has really created the best response?
I think it's Magobo. That's that medley that I did of Simon Chimbetu's
Yes,
Magobo and andDr. I think it's the one that people have liked the most. Um, but others are doing well as well. I did a Leonard Embo Musharudzi. That
yes.
one is a favorite of many as well. And then Paul Mataire's Andirambe is also done really well.
And what process goes into making the cover? How long does it take for you to create one?
It just depends on the song, really. Um, it's it takes me maybe uh, I don't know, an average of 1 or 2 days to 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 do all the recording. Um,
Yeah.
and then maybe on the third day I mix. So in in between all my other work that I do, um, uh, yeah, I try to fit in that um, you know those covers.
Great. And I was just thinking one day that um, because people are still trying to understand, especially from back home, issues to do with the copyrights and other things. Is this something that has come your way, getting some of the artists either living or some that are departed, their families, people responding, but possibly not maybe in the best way when you've done a cover?
Yeah, I think the only one that I've had an encounter with was somebody related to James Timombe.
Mhm.
Um, they when they first approached me, their first uh, thing that they said was how much they really liked the music and
Yes,
what I'd done with it. And then they expressed their concern that I had put out that music, uh, but I haven't commercialized these covers. Like I'm not making any money really from it. So I'm providing this music for people to listen to for free.
yes,
And so I haven't financially uh, gained from it. Um, and when I expressed that to them, then they understood and they were really, they were okay with what I was doing.
great.
But I don't think I haven't actually um, flouted any copyright laws.
Yes,
Um, and if there's a way eventually, you know,
yes,
or if somebody uh, that has rights to some of the music that I'm doing,
yes,
if it comes up and they want to benefit from what I'm doing, then they are free to approach me, and I'll be happy to have an arrangement for them so that they can benefit from
benefit from it.
yeah. If you go to my YouTube channel, uh, you'll see that all the covers I haven't monetized all the covers that I'm doing. It's
Yes,
because I'm really trying to be careful and to be respectful and not um, uh, and not benefit financially from other people's uh, um, you know music. So yeah, like I said before, my main goal is just to entertain and to get people paying attention to those songs uh,
yes,
again. And so, yeah, maybe one day, um, if it can be worked out, I would be
Yes.
really interested in compiling all these into an album or albums,
Right.
and then if we can work out a way to sell them, and with all proceeds going to the people that proceeds should go to, or to charity, then that's something that I would be very interested in doing if there was a way to work that out.
Awesome, awesome. Any prospects for you to maybe do like a proper remix for one of the songs, or has there been any other artist who has shown interest in actually going that direction? Because I think music is great, and for some of us, some of the music we starting to connect with it now. It's really like new music to a lot of like young artists or young people.
Not really. I haven't heard uh, any living artists or who have been interested in doing something like that with me. Uh, yeah, but I'm open. I'm open to collaborating with others, and yeah. So if somebody has an idea out there and they'd like us to work on something, I'd be into it.
Right. Internationally, we see that sampling is becoming one of the biggest art forms. I know in hip hop it has always been a culture, but now a lot of the songs that we see, the hit songs, either the beat has been sampled or one chorus or one part of the song. And Zim is still catching up on this. What would be your thought on it? What would be your advice to the new crop of artists with regard to maybe tapping into some of the rich musical legacy that we have?
Yeah, it'll be something that would be really great if some of the new artists could tap into that. Uh, the only I think the only challenge for um, for our market in Zimbabwe, or industry in Zimbabwe, is that uh, there's not really a strong mechanism for the original uh, for the original artist to benefit from it. Uh, Here, you know, there's the the ASCAP, and BMI, and
My,
and they're looking out for that. And there's a way for the original artists to benefit from that, even if uh, even if you, what am I trying to say? Like, even if the artist who's sampling doesn't approach uh, the original artist, there's a way, there's a mechanism for tracing all those things. But in Zimbabwe, like for example, one of the reasons why I haven't commercialized the uh, the covers that I'm doing is because it's very difficult to figure out who owns the rights to the music. You know, um, so if the younger artists were to sample and use that music commercially, then it would be really difficult for them not to flout any copyright laws. You know what I mean?
yes, I
Um,
get it.
yeah. So I think it goes back down to the way our industry in Zimbabwe is set up, and our economy, and
And
um,
what's your take on that? I mean, there's been so much talk for a very long time about the Zimbabwean music industry. Some saying that the industry is non-existent and that it lacks so many things. What's your thought when you look at the Zimbabwean music industry?
yeah, I don't know how uh, artists in Zimbabwe are surviving, because uh, the way that the economy is, uh, like I was listening to a I was reading some of the comments. I think it was on your post where people were
Yes.
comparing the Zimbabwean industry to the
Nigerian music industry, yes.
yeah. And if people don't buy music, if people don't have disposable income to be able to buy music, then it's difficult for artists. Like you're basically doing it for the love of it. So uh, I think the Zimbabwean industry, uh, people have had to to rely on being brand ambassadors or uh, stuff like that.
Yes.
You
To
know,
gain a bit of money.
yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah, so I don't know. It all boils down to the way our economy is um, in Zimbabwe. And I hope and pray that things will get better for Zimbabwe and the economy starts working again, and the arts industry will start working again as well.
What would be your advice to young artists right now, in terms of from musicality to just the business of music? You are more exposed to so many things, to a functional industry. What would be your word uh, to the crop of new artists?
My advice would be just work on your art. Uh, just keep learning and keep trying to get better at what you do. Uh, and there's so much to learn. And if you just keep making yourself better and keep showing up, um, don't get discouraged if people don't uh, uh, you know don't jump onto your stuff right away. Uh, you just believe in what you're doing, and if it's good, you know, people will pay attention eventually. Um, so just keep working on it. Keep doing what you're doing, and try to get yourself out there as much as possible. Um, you know, and I think one of the things for me um, was that uh, I mean it's just a human thing that when you put yourself out there as an artist, you are basically just like bearing yourself, you know, to vulnerably to people. And that's a very vulnerable place to be. And a lot of artists have tried that. I did that. I put my music out there, and people didn't pay attention to it at first, and that was very discouraging at first for me. Until
Yes.
I learned that not everyone is gonna like what you do. So knowing that just liberated me to just keep doing what I'm doing, and and focus on whoever is enjoying what I'm doing. I'm gonna do that for them. So young artists, there's always gonna be somebody who's gonna like what you do. Do it for them, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Wow. Profound words there, and thank you so much for passing that wisdom. I hope some are listening. Currently, who are you listening to from Zimbabwe? Who is on your playlist? Maybe if you were to pick 5 artists or 3 to 5 that you'd say these are the artists that I'm listening to currently.
So I've been listening to Norman Masamba. Uh, I've been
Yes,
listening
he's got a
to
brilliant album.
yeah, and what's his name? The Sungura artist.
Mark Ngwazi.
Yes. Oh man, that guy. Uh,
Yes,
that guy is awesome, man. And
he is.
there's a song that I think what's her name? Sharon Rose.
Sharon Rose, yes.
there's a song that she put out.
Kumbuleka.
Exactly. That was really good. And yeah, there's just a lot of good music that's coming out. And you know, it's a shame that the Zimbabwean music industry economically is not able to support, to support uh, um, artists right now as it used to be able to. But I think because of the way people have easier access to information, YouTube and stuff, there's a lot of really great talent out there. You know, I'm
Yes.
blown away every time I listen to young artists. What's his name? Prince Madiwali when he plays.
Yes.
Takakunda Mukundu. All
Mukundu,
those young
yes.
people. It seems like the skill level is just like
It's
going up.
growing up.
Yeah, and people are more exposed to a lot more now
Right.
because of the internet, I think, and
Mhm.
because of that, there's a lot of the level of raw talent
Yes.
um, gone up. I just wish that the recording also was going up at the same rate.
I mean, you as a producer, as an engineer, what's your take in terms of the quality of production, especially when it comes to maybe popular music like sim dance or hip hop? Um, the standard of production, the quality of the music, mixing and mastering. That has been a cause of concern to some people in the industry. But what's your take as a practitioner?
Yeah, so there's two things, two facets to that, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of people might not know this, but a producer is not necessarily an engineer,
Okay.
right? A producer is the person who who controls the direction of the music,
Mhm.
right? A
Yeah.
producer might not even know how to record or how to, uh, but they know how to put together music, um, and they lead the direction of where the music is going. So on the production side, I'm really impressed with what people are doing. You know what I mean? Like uh,
Yes.
the beats, um, the ideas and stuff. But on the engineering side, the mixing, uh, the recording clean stuff, the mastering, that's where a lot of work needs to be done, in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so if the engineering side of things uh, could match the production side of things and the talent side of things, I think we would be able to break through internationally really soon.
Great. And before we close the interview, um, where do you see Zimbabwe music going, given 5 years from now? Where are we headed?
That's an interesting question. Um, I don't know, man. I think it's because of the way the economy is at the moment. It's I mean it
Yeah.
controls. I think it controls a lot. You know, uh, so I think if Zimbabwean artists were able to figure out music that will be more internationally eh, accepted, I think that would be uh, the way out for us. Uh, I don't know that I don't see how in the next 5 years, uh, you know, the Zimbabwean uh, um, market is going to be able to sustain um, artists being really big, making
Yes.
money and surviving and really not just surviving but like really flourishing as artists. And so I think we need to figure out ways to to make music that more people outside of our just Zimbabwean uh, market are going to like and actually buy. You know, um, it's all nice and good to have a lot of likes and followers on social media, but if you're not able to monetize that and to actually bring it to people who are willing to pay for it, then
It doesn't make business sense.
yeah, it'll be just doing it for the love of it. So yeah, I think like I was saying, if there's a lot of raw talent in Zimbabwe, and there's a lot of good uh, production. But if we can raise the quality, the sonic quality of the music, and make it sound better and match international standards, um, and figure out ways to connect with people that are not just Zimbabweans.
Yes.
I think that would be a good way to for artists to break through and actually make a good living from their music.
Oh, great. And what are we expecting from you anytime soon? Do you have any new cover that's coming or any new project?
Yeah, I try to put out a cover every week. But hey, it takes a toll.
I can
It's a
imagine.
lot of work, and I find that also it it slows down my other uh, stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to find the balance of working on because I have a lot of new music
Yeah.
that I would like to put out there. That's my my music, my original music, and I'm getting close. So just keep your ears and eyes open and looking out for it. But very soon I'm going to be bringing out a lot of my original music.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's been great. It's been awesome speaking to you, and uh, we've learned so much and a lot of new things that I didn't know before. And I think for those that are watching, they also benefited and they've learned something. To those that would want to connect with you, we know where to find you on Facebook, Zivanai Masango. But where else can people get in touch with you?
Um, yeah, so probably Facebook is the best way to,
Okay.
to get in touch with me, or I'm also on Instagram. Um, my handle there is Zivi Music,
Okay.
Zivi Music. I'm also on Twitter, uh, Music Zivi. I think is my handle
Okay.
on Twitter. Yeah, so people can connect with me on those platforms.
Great. Great. A random question. If you're not doing music, if you're not making any music, doing any music, what do you occupy your pastime?
I watch soccer. I watch football.
What's your favorite team?
I, say that again. Sorry.
No, I was asking which one is your favorite team?
Live.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Okay, great, great.
yeah. So yeah. So between soccer and just hanging out with my wife and
Great.
watching TV. Uh, that's these days with the lockdown, there's not much
What you can do.
much you can get out and do. But yeah. But
Uh,
I love football. I think if I hadn't been actually music chose me. Music stole me from soccer. So,
you could have been a soccer player.
yeah.
Great, great. Thank you so much to everybody who's been watching. I've been speaking there to Zivanai Masango, who's I don't know if I can just call you an artist because you're more than an artist. He's an artist, an engineer, a producer. He does so many things. Uh, he's basically music. I think maybe that best describes. Yes, he's an artist also in his own right, making some great music. You should look it up on his Facebook, on his YouTube, Zivanai Masango, and he's making some beautiful covers of music that some of you, the young ones, possibly have not heard before. And when you hear it, you feel like you're hearing it for the first time because he's bringing also new flavor to to the old music. So stay tuned to earGround New Voices Amplified. We appreciate your support and keep supporting us. New programs, new artists, new guests that are coming in 2021. And remember to sanitize, social distancing, and also to stay safe. Always mask up. COVID is real, and stay safe. Great. Until next time, I'm out. Thank you so
Thanks for
much.
having me.
You're welcome.
New voices amplified. earGround.